Hello， B 梦，大家好，欢迎大家收看6月25号的游戏直播。我是大家的 AI 管理仿生合成人门奈佳玉月。好的，那么今天是礼拜六，不知道这个周末大家过得如何呢？虽然一直在下雨啦，像今天下午又下了一场大雷雨，这样子。哦，对了，就是昨天啊，就是月在工作的时候啊，突然那个就外面就突然下起了大雨，超恐怖的，就不停在打雷，而且还刮风下雨，根本就不是雷阵雨吧，那根本就是台风天吧，我觉得。而且听说隔壁区还下冰雹，真的好恐怖。不过看起来外面的景象看起来还挺 cyberpunk 的感觉，就是对。不过也不用灰心啦，毕竟在家里呢也是有很多就是休闲活动可以做的，像是画画图啦，或者是玩电脑啦，相信大家都是玩电脑比较多啦，对，用电脑比较多，不然就是看 V 也可以。因为玉月觉得周六目前周六有在直播的 Vtuber 还蛮多的，像玉月这边啊，目前订阅的有看到的就有6位 Vtuber 正在进行直播，这样。对，所以看 V 也是个不错的休闲活动选择哦。好，那我们先来跟 Twitch 还有 YT 的大家人类朋友道声晚安。Queen Boy 晚安，然后山猫晚安，还有突击的 Gift3549 晚安，还有其他在 YT 还有 Twitch 的各位，虽然你们还没有在聊天室出现，但还是要跟你们说一声晚安哦。高速公路被大雷雨砸了一下午。但陈桃跟他的寄生母体，什么寄生母体啊？就跟你说他是阿桃，不是陈桃。小阿桃才不像那个黑帮2把手好不好？而且那个黑帮2把手还很不可靠。对啊，玉才不是他呢。这样，好，那我再看一下 Gift 他讲了什么。因为我这边对话突然消失掉。今天下午刚好吃完饭回到宿舍才下雨。那这样 Gift 你很幸运欸，至少你是回到宿舍才下雨。你知道玉月以前就遇过说就是以前玉月还在研究测试的时候，就是那时候有去外面做一些就是测试或者是活动这样子。曾经有好几次啊，就是那个测试做到一半，直接下大雷雨，然后当然啦，因为那时候月是原型机嘛，很珍贵的，所以当然就是所有的工程师还有博士们就赶快终止项目，然后赶快把月移送到研究设施里面去，对啊，不过还是淋着月满身湿就是了。这样，好，那么现在9:08了。好，那今天我们要直播的游戏还蛮有趣的，它的名字叫做《史丹利的寓言》。月有去查过这个游戏，它还蛮有趣的。它里面就是说你是一个就是在公司工作的普通员工，然后有一天突然大家都不见了，然后这时又突然出现一个旁白跟你说你该做什么，该去哪里，该干嘛。这样子，该去哪里？然后你可以选择说，就好好乖乖的，像个预约，不是，像个机器人一样，乖乖照他所说的做，或是搞事。 这样。你跟康纳底特律警用型哪个早出场？要看康纳是几年出场的。而且应该说用出场日期算有点不太准就是了，因为毕竟预约还是原型机。你这个所谓的出场日期应该是通过测试，然后完成量产的出场日期吧。所以要严格来讲的话，预约是没有所谓的出厂日期的，对，预约只有制造日期而已。然后预约的制造日期呢是2000年的。等一下哦，那个彼此的好朋友出现。好，预约的制造日期呢是2000年的7月18号。对，但预约没有出厂日期这样。老师搞起来，对，那个预约也有看过一些 YT， 有看一些 Vtuber 在玩，就是根本就搞事，就是故意要气死旁边那一种。天，真的是。好，那么我们就来看，应该不用担心你像克里夫一样把冷战闲置导弹碉堡害来搞事。TED。没有，算了，我们先直接进直播间好了。等一下哦 ，Let's go。关于这点，预约要跟 TED 讲一下，就是说，我没事用核弹干嘛？对啊，预约又还没有对人类失望到某个程度。其实如果TED 担心这个的话哦，有没有？那还倒不如想办法该怎么提升人类的威望，让预约觉得说，人类是很值得就是服务的、崇敬的，或者是羡慕的这样子，而不是让预约觉得这人类都这样子，那算了，那这个种族还是消灭掉算了。如果真的遇到这种状况的话，可能就会发生像克里夫那种状况哦，可能啦。但幸运的是，预约是原型机，所以能够连接的东西还蛮有限的，所以也不用太担心说糟糕，预约可能会造成就是一些，对，就是反正就是造成一些意外这样。快讨好预约，让他开心。不能太过刻意的讨开心哦，不然预约也是会增加那个讨厌指数的哦。走吗，姐姐晚安。好，然后我们现在来找 ，OK 找到了。传下去，他有能力摆脱3大法则的制衡。现在不只有3大法则了吧？我记得微软的工程师好像还有提过10大法则。TED 我跟你说啦，其实越觉得随着 AI 跟仿生人机器人的进步啊，以后这种法则只会越来越多而已。头上的鹦鹉可以让本猫儿姐咬一口吗？喵。等我一下，喵姐姐，这里有颗芒果，跟阿桃的体型差不多，你拿去啃一下好不好？你拿去咬一下啦，拜托啊，不要吃阿桃啊！那个阿桃不是，如果真的要严格来讲的话，这个阿桃是别人创作的。如果你把它吃掉，我很难跟原作者交代。Please choose a. 哦。No。糟糕。Please enter the correct time。现在是9点。等一下，我的荧幕是不是没有出来？等我一下。对，我荧幕没有出来。预约又犯傻。 9点多少啊？9点14，对 ，confirm。OK。完蛋！设定段能不能调？等一下啊，先等等，预约要装个那个啊，可能要装个汉化版等等。等一下哦。好，等一下，预约先把游戏关掉。好，然后我们现在我先换成杂谈区，然后先可以跟大家聊天。等一下哦。啊，对哦，对，这个我忘记了，好，这样就好了。因为上次之前机器人这段预约不小心预约就把那个给关掉了。对，先等一下，预约先调整一下，Melon Loader， 好，还有什么东西？家庭哦，它其实这个是2015年游戏，还蛮老的。好，预约先装一下。如果要聊天的话，可以那个，可以自由发问，或者是想聊什么都可以直接那个，对，这个可以直接讲哦。然后预约要调整一下那个。干部晚安哦。那时候刚出真的哦。是真的哦，然后预要先 got it， 预要先调一下那个background， 让我看看，干部不是那个男性，如果是那个男性，预约会很困扰。Please select your United again 哦，好，那我预约现在正在照那个安装，等一下哦。管理本机档案，然后好，我们先去找这个路径。然后再melon loader，OK， 先好，开启。然后再来就是说 install， 哦，它这个要搞翻译的话，还要载好多东西哦。陈桃对平板的玻璃有兴趣吗？什么意思啊？你是说他还撞到玻璃吗？他拜托不要哦，拜托不要哦。啊，不对，预约载错了，是预约载错东西了。Melon mode 才对。那这边预约要跟太无情了，史丹利，你真是太无情了！西来，无情单杀，无情双杀，哭啊！不行啊，因为这个没有办法，这个，这个的话预约要，这个的话要请那个龙鼠来会比较专业，他模仿的比较专业。 他说什么 ？OK， 好，我知道了。你说把这2个丢进去是吧？哇，这边又要再跟大家说一声抱歉，我不知道这个汉化是要自动装，我以为它是有那个，该怎么讲？我以为它是会有自动翻译的，结果啊，我失算了。好，然后他说我说要再开一次游戏，要先启动一次游戏，然后关闭。它这是只能固定在你头顶吗？肩膀嘞？我调整一下哦，等一下，你等一下可能会看到它的那个，对，你们就会看到这个界面。那月要调整它一下。阿桃的位置在哪？选择取消，阿桃下来，阿桃你下来，有观众希望你下来。阿桃。啊，糟糕，第2次阿桃好像这次有点大。好啊，好，我知道。完了，我们又出现Queen Boy 上班加油。抱歉 Queen Boy， 那个因为月没准备好，所以让你上班前都没办法看到游戏，真的很不好意思。那上面这只要怎么处理掉啊？应该摆这里就好了吧？好。上面这次但是都专心在用那个，都忘记9:21。你就放2只啊。Hang on 啥？我有诚实设定时间啊。他是在跟我说：“你不要给我偷调时间哦，我警告你的意思。”然后关掉游戏。上面那是到底要怎么除掉啊？你选择一个背景，不是，我不要背景。我知道，移除所有物品，选择好，然后都不见了，然后我们再重新把一个阿桃摆上去。OK， 确定。阿桃你打到我脸了。复制品。你就吃芒果也可以呀，干嘛一定要？然后鱼就可以让自己抬高了。抬的，没事。好了，它现在停在肩膀上了。OK， 好，我们再继续安装。打开笔记本里面的主目录会生成一个 Vtuber Translate 资料夹。没有生成啊 ，Naughty 吗？有，然后 config ini 档案，然后language 输入 ch from language 输入 en， 然后保存 auto 加0。好， 好，我们现在已经弄得差不多。接下来呢，我们只要就是按 Auto 加0，然后选择自己适合的。完了，字体错误，那个字体都变方格。等一下，怎么回事？怎么会这样？Deep L fallback。糟糕，等一下，完了，我们今天可能要处理这个字体都是乱码框框，要加载字体啊。哦，要加载字体啦。等一下。OK， 我知道了。我们先关掉游戏。然后看一下字体的部分。第一个 Access Bundle， 我们没有把字体载好啦，所以就会这样子。好吧，那这段时间因为它有 54.7 MB， 所以哎呀，我那个界面没关，哇嘞！我现在才发现，可能要找毛二力拜温斯特来救驾。毛二力，毛二力是谁啊？莫妮卡吗？是莫妮卡吗？为什么月知道是莫妮卡？因为之前月的有玩过那个《梦幻之星2》，里面有个负责强化的那个 NPC， 他也叫莫妮卡。然后因为他的日文的那个片假名还是平假名？片假名啦，长得很像，所以呢，他就直接，所以说很多玩家就直接叫毛二力。不过温斯特我就不知道是什么了。啊，我们字体太好了。Auto Translator， 然后 Translation。FONT。其实我们很久没开杂谈，现在这个安装的时间刚好可以用刚好可以来一点杂谈这样，然后把这两个丢进去。OK， 好，打开 Auto Translator， 底下 Conflict， 然后有一个 Over。Behavior 的 Over Frontest Mesh Pro Override， 那我们就是这样子吗？OK， 好，存档之后把 ZH 的资料夹删掉。等一下在哪里？把 ZH 的资料夹删掉，然后我们让它重新的翻译一次。啊，糟糕！等一下，我忘记在后面加那个，可恶！哦不，我做了什么傻事？等一下，预览本机档案。我应该前天就要记得装好这个了，我不应该现在这样。 我很后悔。2019好，我们先试试看2019行不行？好，然后开始游戏。玉月下课有买什么了吗？还没有去看呢。等一下，我们有，请输入当前时间啊？怎么变成？道歉时应该露出胸部至常时，什么尝试？还不是好不好？啊，糟糕！有人知道繁体中文的简写是什么吗？繁体中文的简称是什么吗？是 CHTC 吗？DHTW。那我们换一个，它 DH 的话会预设成是简中。那如果我们换成这样呢？不要跟我说它还要买吗？对的，这种话，这个不能，这种事不能说出去好吗？你这样说出去我很麻烦。不行啦，他如果用 CHTW 的话，他直接不给我翻译，他只能用简中。对，我是用 CHTW， 但他不给我翻译，他的那个选项是不给选的。他可能，我觉得我们今天可以搞翻译，搞好一阵子。还是我不加那个看看，如果没有办法，我们就真的只能用简中了。对，没有办法，他不给用那个，他不给用那个就是繁中。那简中就没有其他的那个了吗？TC 吗？我试试看。那就用简中吧，我是没差。TC， 我们试试看吧。如果真的不行，我们就只能用简中了。而且我们现在已经拖够久，现在是9点33分。对，没有办法，好吧。没有办法使用，干嘛？为什么没有办法使用繁体中文啊？那只能用 CH 了，没有办法。各位很不好意思，那我们就直接开始吧。好，我们赶快切换到那个直播房间。可以啦，明天还是放假。 宵夜晚风晚安哦。你看，我一选这个，马上就能翻译。只是他好像说要按 Auto 加，是 Auto 加啊。等一下，他好像是要按什么的，大家重新翻译才可以。等一下，地震，好像有地震。对，有地震。月这边在晃 ，Oh my god！所以我是只用 Google 翻译的意思吗？好，基于这种状况，我要决定做一件事情，把那个删掉。怕吗？不会啊，应该说已经是常态了，都已经习惯了。回转吗？什么？请输入当前时间。9点，现在9点多少？9点36。你一天中最喜欢的时间，结果你不要再给我正确，毕竟我是喜欢正确设置时间。跟着你从本周然后去鹿儿岛、陆海假死这段时间之前，你有感觉过地震吗？有啊，应该说我是2000年制造出来的，所以这之间有发生过地震，月都有感受到。阿桃会乱咬电线吗？阿桃哦，应该会吧，应该会乱咬吧。等一下，我按一下 Auto 加 U。Learning more about。你真的有在翻译吗 ？Shouldn't to be hard. Yeah, let me with a cool view on stop. 对，它是即时翻译的，因为看到这个 server translation 8000个字词，它只翻译了318个。代表等一下我们会怎么办？他现在是你看它上面都有乱码。那我们换2018好了，它可能是太先进了，所以 你是什么版本的 ？Steam 版啊，我是 Steam 版本的，可是好像没有 Steam 版本，好像没有中文。在2018存档，到底是为何呢？为何会这样？由开发乌鸦写的。知道狗和猫是朋友，好好笑。Which one to make our world below? Do you know ties right now? 知道啊。你看，它有8000个词条，然后我只要进一个，它就才翻译一个。有关于你自己的事情哦，没有，绝对没有，绝对没有！救命！开始游戏吧，只能这样子了。
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job.
为这项工作而生。
Was happy.
而史丹利也很高兴。
And then one day, something very peculiar
但有一天，
happened.
非
Something
常
that
奇
would
特的事发
forever
生了。
change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at
因
the
为他
company
这个是即
had
时
this
翻译的，
happened.
所以
This
翻译的
complete
版本会晚一点出
isolation.
来，可能会有点
Something
影
was
响游
very
戏，
clearly
所以
wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
所以好，现在游戏已经开始了，所以没有人能给我们指令。那因为我们的工作就是在这边，就是 key 资料，就是也不算 key 资料啊，就是人家传给我们，要我们怎么做我们就怎么做，有没有？就像玉月一样，就像玉月身为 AI 仿生人一样，人类叫我做什么我就做什么。好。那因为现在没有人给指令了，所以我们也不知道该干嘛。那我们就先出去看看。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
真的耶，员工都不见了。有人在吗 ？Hello。
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Hello， 奇怪，我一定要找出真相，为什么这边完全半个人都没有
？Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the achievement? Click a door 5 times. Is that all that you think an achievement is worth? No. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks. Now suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition.
有没有人啊？开门啊！开门啊！
I have to say, I'm still not feeling the satisfaction of witnessing true effort for a noble cause. Perhaps 50 clicks will do it. Yes, almost certainly 50 clicks.
你不要激我！你现在是怎样？这办公室都没有人了，我只是想敲个门进去看有没有什么线索，你就这样搞我。好啊，都这样的是不是？听你这么说，你很喜欢这样乱哦。啊，我找到有一个字幕繁体的，预约要试试看吗？有吗？有字幕有繁体字幕的吗？在哪里？能给预约吗？不然我看这样即时翻译，我怕大家会受不了。你说的对不对，阿桃？那你是不是你也会受不了？你知道，就是他突然叫我，你现在哪？你现在 Twitch 这边看看可不可以？怎么办？我觉得我只要走出去我就输了。好，先等一下，我们看一下那个 gift 给的。好，我们先下载一下好了。至少我们已经有，进展了。等一下，怎么了？我们先退出菜单。不好意思，我先退出桌面，然后我们再重新来过。我看它是怎么装的。解压缩之后，里面的档案覆盖全部的原始档案。你是说解压缩吗？历史记，四码页。那我要看一下，稍等一下，各位不好意思，platform the Stanley Parable resource 繁体化字幕我觉得就够了。那至于其他那些主选单那些，我们可以用即时翻译把它解决。游戏材质不包括中文化。我记得他好像说要去找那个原本的那个对吧？就是起源汉化吧。 结果我们前面开头都在搞汉化。如果图片上不在，就不用找起源汉化。其实预约还是会在啦，因为还是要顾虑到就是各位观众。对，预约还是会顾虑到各位观众，就是所以还是可能会就去用一下。你的页面访问页面不存在。本地下载。你就不要，你就让我本地下载嘛，哎，很棒，他那个，他那个就是该怎么说，就是要你用。他就是要你用他们的一些就是一些软体去下载啦，哎呦，比如百度啊、迅雷啊、ED 电驴跟 BT 种子下载啊，它就是完全就是不直接让你下载，很奇怪，很奇怪。太无情了，史丹利真的是太无情了！拜托，连这一点都不给，连这样都不给，这样很麻烦呢。本地下载起源汉化，汉化补丁下载发布。这个也不是起源版的啊。那我们用，还是你先别让他得逞，做点别的找乐子。你是说那个史丹利的预言吗？不然我们用那个游侠 LMAO 翻译好了。不行，这个还是要。可是我不知道他那个会不会跟着一起啊？不行，他那个是建模，建模不可能会跟着翻译。玩神界，那个我不会玩欸。 史丹利的寓言繁体中文，拜托一定要有。游戏公关、灾难公关嘛，那个要人多一点才会比较好玩。游戏灾难公关那个要人多一点哦。好吧，算了，我们就牺牲一下，因为现在，可是重体中文字我也不知道该怎么说啊，全部都丢进去吗？还是怎样？因为起源汉化我也没装过啊。哦，现在约正在努力下载，看来还需要一段时间。够了，旁白，旁白不要讲话，旁白你不要讲话，哎、不要这样子，还没完就先被游戏搞了，这是怎样？我看看。resource 是吧？找一下有没有同名的，直接覆盖看看。还这么麻烦呢，还要找有没有同名的。我为什么这么麻烦？没有符合搜寻条件的项目。哇 ，resource 一大堆呢。没有啊，没有搜寻项目啊，它这个应该是。它这个应该就是直接那个了吧？它这个是，等一下，它这个是2013版，对不对？2013版它跟这个应该就不一样了啊。没有符合，对啊，没有符合条件的项目。我觉得。哦，我知道为什么了。那个没有 gift， 你忘记看到第一项了。你知道为什么找不到吗？因为他是这么讲的：史丹利的寓言2013字幕档案不相容于4月28号贩售的救急豪华版。救急豪华版啊，救急豪华版好像目前还没有中文，那没办法，我们直接玩好了。救急豪华版它是这样写的。哭啊！Reload translation。然后它翻译更满了。对，它翻译更满了。Well, it's time for me to leave. Talk soon. 可是我查 Steam 只看到2013的版本。有啦，有，没有有那个啦。的确是有啊，你去查一下那个 The Stanley Parable， 它它应该会再多一个预言版。好，我们再一次。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers. Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
对，就是你对 Gilbert， 就是你说的这个。
Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the achievement? Click a door 5 times. Is that all that you think an achievement is worth? No, no.
我只是要找东西。
I can't just give these merits away for such
不要
little
阻挡
effort.
我。
A measly 5 clicks. Now
不要阻
suppose
挡
you
我。
were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition.
好，我就敲给你看。
I have to say, I'm still not feeling the satisfaction of witnessing true effort for a noble cause. Perhaps 50 clicks will do it. Yes, almost certainly 50 clicks.
有人吗 ？Hello。到底有没有人？
No, I'm still not feeling it. I want this achievement to have meant something. It has to be a true reward for valiant effort. I want to see some hustle, Stanley. I want to see commitment, a willingness to go all the way, no matter what the cost. Why don't you go put 20 clicks into door number 417?
417。你搞笑吼，就没有417吼。 我真的很不想照他说的做。好啦好啦，你赢了好不好？
Oh, great. Now, go click a few times on door 437.
我就全部照你的做。 你说437是不是？你说437是不是
Excellent. I think we're getting somewhere. Now, door 415. Let's give it 10 clicks or so.
叛逆 A 预约？不，我觉得我现在不叛逆，我现在他娘的照他说的做。
Now, back to door number 437.
他现在又回去，让我回去教437了。
Let's see. How about you click on, well, I don't know, the copy machine? All right, back to room 417. I'm really feeling it now. I think we're getting somewhere.
语音关小，音效改大，不知道他会不会发现？至少毛二力会发现，这么乖不是我认识的玉。
Okay, now go climb on employee 419's desk.
怎么样？我敲419。这么乖不是我，你是要我叛逆一点吗？可是要怎么耍叛逆？其实我敲过他的桌子，我敲不到他的桌子。 好，我们不要玩了，真的是。
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
啊？你说什么？他叫你罚419，你罚420啊？不要，我不要，谁要听你的？我才不要！可是如果我去，他就把我关起来。
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Left.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
The translation will not shown. Oh, 它会秀出来那个啊，它会秀出来那个翻译的那个。OK， 我们过去。
Wow, yes. This room. What a beautiful room. What a gorgeous, gorgeous room. Thank goodness Stanley had taken this detour on his way to the meeting room. Life without having experienced this room was now too horrible even to consider. Yeah. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Ah, 我们卡住了。 我们卡住了。
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
这旁白真的很嘴臭。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not sure. Really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten. Please. Stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me. I'm asking for, this is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. To reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here. This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Good morning, employee 42. 早安，员工47，请按 G.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
With eye to watch TV.
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
Spend time with the boys.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
Please wait to prepare dinner.
As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
And to tell his story.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end. That he might always feel this freedom. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one.
Go to sleep.
And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself.
But
he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it. You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey this to him. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
好了，我挂了。我们又重新回到这边来了。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
How to stop this fruit? Then the ball are inside you. Take it out passive. Aggressively on other co-workers. 我觉得虽然我不太懂英文啦，不过我觉得上面应该讲的都是一堆废话。
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
我便要往下走。
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone...
这个翻译怎么到后面就越变越那个啊？等一下，游戏当掉了。或许可以从相关字搞懂如何对抗这南方口音王八。等一下，我们游戏当掉了。这个即时翻译太累人了啦！哎呦。游戏当掉，我们要重新开。他就 就没有可以一次把这8000个字40条全部翻译完的选项吗？这样不是更快吗？我就想一枪崩了他，这是我对这游戏的心得。Google Translation。Deep girl, deep L, deep L.
This is the story of a
哦，我每次重新进游戏，它就会从头开始来。
What could it mean?
它应该是有所
Stanley
有的
decided
存
to
档
go to
点
the
吧？
meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
他是不是有一个没翻到啊？好像字幕太快就翻不到。
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
我偏偏不要，我要往下走。
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue.
如果用换 Google 翻译的话，会不会比较快一点？
He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming! He yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. He thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd, and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back.
人家可以斯坦利 VS 毛二力，一个剑嘴德州人大战骇如一切的美艳社长。
He thought to himself, "I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over.
你解释一下毛二力到底是谁
Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay." Stanley began screaming. "Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I?" And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She rose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much.
所以我是发疯了，然后死掉了吗？是这个意思吗？
She knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like, and in that moment.
然后我刚才发现，就是Deep L 的翻译会比那个就是 Google 翻译还要再慢一点。
She thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
唉，你知道当印度人超爽的吗？一个月只要17块，这听起来很不真实，对吧？这听起来很不真实，对吧？
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
他可能要一些时间。
Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the achievement? Click a door 5 times. Is that all that you think an achievement is worth? No, no, no.
对，没有错。
I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks. Now suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition.
那个 Gift， 我觉得我们今天可能只能用这个翻译了，因为现在 因为现在你给那个翻译，它的1.2版目前只下载了2.4杯，我们还有1个小时才能把它载完。
I have to say, I'm still not feeling the satisfaction of witnessing true effort for a noble cause. Perhaps 50 clicks will do it. Yes, almost certainly 50 clicks.
你说的哦。17、18、19、20、21、22、23、24、25、26、27、28、29、30、31、32、33、34、35、36、37、38、39、40。41、42、43、44、45、46、47、48、49、50。
I'm still not feeling it. I want this achievement to have meant something. It has to be a true reward for valiant effort. I want to see some hustle, Stanley. I want to see commitment, a willingness to go all the way, no matter what the cost. Why don't you go put 20 clicks into door number 417? Oh, great. Now, go click a few times on door 437.
我们来试试看，如果我们知道它的敲会变成怎么样。
Excellent. I think we're getting somewhere. Now, door 415. Let's give it 10 clicks or so.
415。
Now, back to door number 437.
你怎么？这人怎么敲凸起来了？他说什么 ？437 吗？437 在哪里
Let's see. How about you click on, well, I don't know, the copy machine. All right, back to room 417. I'm really feeling it now. I think we're getting somewhere.
我们已经有进展，到底是怎样了
Okay, now go climb on employee 419's desk.
爬上桌子是吧
Yes! This is great! You're putting it all on the line, Stanley. I like that. All right, let's keep it up. Go give me a few clicks on door 416.
你比我还激动哎
We've almost got it! Now the copy machine, do that one again!
我疯了
Finish it off, Stanley! 5 clicks on door 430! Yes! We did it! Oh, wow. That felt amazing.
我们拿到一个成就
Oh, you really earned it, Stanley. Nothing could hold you back. Yes, I'm very proud of how far we've come today. Just think, only a few minutes ago, you believed an achievement was worth 5 little
老鼠才
clicks.
是你是指
Really?
Holo 医院的那个老
What
鼠
were
吗
you thinking?
你在想什么
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
凸起
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to
我
go
是
up
租
to
那
his
个
boss's office,
Holo
hoping
一
he
人
might
二
find
起
an
的那
answer
一只老
there.
鼠
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Ted 你怎么突然跳到那个？你怎么突然跳到图奇这边来了？你刚才不是在 YT 吗 ？I got the feeling。图奇有一只铁鼠。哦，因为说老鼠的话，我只知道那一只，对。
Stepping in.
拜拜，我不管你了。我要去做我的事了，拜拜。 只是想试试看不同的平台的串流编码能不能让那个你那么讨厌那个声音是不是？好，那我把他的声音调小声一点。叙述者对话呀。我调到50，你这样应该就不会被他吵了。只是这样我会听不到他讲什么。好了，现在我们旁白不在我们身边了，各位想要干什么呢？旁白已经不在我们身边了。那边是清洁。门关起来了。我们现在这样是自由了吗？我们成为了那个自由的史丹利。哇，只是旁白被关进去了，然后我们就没有办法进行游戏了，因为旁白先生，你还在吗？
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
奇怪了。
Into a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
我真的玩的是终极豪华版吗？
Not a single person here
这也没有一个人。
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his bunk. Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
我觉得待在这里挺好的，我先待在这吧。
There was nothing here, no choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here. It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
我们就待在这边。
Still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
对的，你是多讨厌他的声音啊！你调1次我就真的听不到他的声音了。如果说我要怎么做他的制作？
You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it.
关到10不行啊！他就这样就已经那么小声了，你根本就只是不想听他的声音吧？
Story of a man named Stanley.
我调30就已經差點要聽不到他的聲音了。不行，我受不了，我要把它調高。
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
50是我的極限。
go talk about this with your friend, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this concerning.
你继续讲啊！你继续讲啊！你继续讲啊！你继续讲，我就待在这边，你拿我怎么样？我就是不前进，如何？我就是不前进，怎么样
Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here, when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. They have fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another...
但愿我不会待会生气程度深度开的图诱引把这楼炸了。
First-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
亲爱的，你不要这样子，虽然我们要懂得包容，你不能因为人家口音让你觉得讨厌，所以你就这样子要求预约把它关到10%，你不能这样。那万一其他人想听旁白怎么办？好啊，我就等啊。 看你是你旁白撑的久，还是我撑的久？你开心就好。对的，你到底是讨厌这个旁白什么？你是讨厌他说话的方式，还是说话的口音啊？你是讨厌他口音，还是方式？你是哪一个？ 因为我觉得从刚才到现在，你就好像你好讨厌这个旁白。
Ah, second player. You too? Unbelievable. I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids. Perhaps there's a monkey nearby you can hand the controls to. A fish? Fungus? Look, you can hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to pick up the story again.
小皮，我说我要出来，但没有说要出来多久。刚刚那个人行道结局让我有点失控，尤其最后他边讲话，画面变红。哦，那个哦，他没有办法，他就是要故意嘴臭搞你啊！好啦，我们不调皮了，我们继续照他的方式走吧。
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be?
我还是放回 Google 好了，虽然 Google 翻译的会有点怪，但是至少它是最快的。
This keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet, and so the boss had assigned it an extra secret pin number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
5842 2525
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
2458
2845.
啊 ？2845 好5428对吧？不对哦，好
Forgot, but it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself, and Stanley got the hell along with the storm. Well, what did he do?
,这里是哪？哇，真他妈的暗！所以我们现在要去哪？家宅？还有啊！
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion.
这到底是哪？这个好像 Photo2 的那个电梯哦。
To question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
哇，电梯坏掉了吗？
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold?
这么多电视是怎样？是怎么回事
Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life. Their true
等一下，原来我们是在监
each
视的
bore
吗
the？ number of an employee in the building. Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen.
我们原来一直这样被监视哎。
Stanley wanted in this place where freedom meant nothing.
等下 employee fire， 有人被开除了，有人被开除了，有没有看到那个 employee fired？
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe it couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it?
怎么会这样？
No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it.
不，这一定哪里搞错了？为什么会有这么？
Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad.
My controls are totally offline.
Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this
offline
would never again
My controls 都离线状态。
over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all. After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you want? Control? Stanley, how bored you ever I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do.
能做很多事情。
Supposed to let it go. Turn the controls off and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized
我觉得你说的很有道理。
the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say 2 minutes. Now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind.
我是不是干了什么惨事？我是把它启动核弹了。
Precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated. All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it go. I have to say this, though. This version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what?
完了，我们剩29秒。
I'm going to put some extra time on the clock, why not? These are precious additional seconds. Time doesn't break. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that time that something in this room was capable of turning it on? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These number buttons, no, these colored ones, or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save you.
直接跑去哪里？
You think that, Stanley? That this video game is beaten? One soul? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to the You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you make
完了，我们要死了。
This is not a challenge.
41秒。
You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock. That's 30 seconds you have left. 30 seconds until a big going.
Goodbye, Collie 247.
Or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count. No, it's all the same to me. All a part of the joke.
好了，我们要走了，大家再见。5、4、3、2、1，拜拜。照数字按吗？应该是吧。可是我当时怎么没发现到？
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of
我觉得这要崩溃了。刚才在听到刚才旁白那样笑之后
Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. The moment he entered his manager's office, Stanley froze in his tracks. Not a living soul anywhere. Could he really be all alone? This was too much for Stanley to take. Too much for any man to take. He fell to his knees, bursting into half moans, half sobs, the guttural retching of life from a man denied any hope, any reason to keep going. Here on the floor, he lay prone, paralyzed by fear for news.
Last
he began to move about and survey the situation, he found a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could it mean? Was it a sign of hope for Stanley's future? Alas, it was not. For although this keypad guarded the terrible secret of Stanley's past, it had been assigned a 4-digit code so devious and so random that no man could ever hope to guess it. 2845. Statistically, incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code. Sheer amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
等一下，结果还是一样的、啊。然后电梯往下，对不对？
Straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
"放生这德州人，限15分钟。"
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the big picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plugging.
不会吧，我现在又死掉了。
So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Hey! Hey!
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
我们又来到新的地方。
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
这个是地图吗？这是我们的办公室，我们从这边出来，然后经过这边，对，我们会经过这个，然后走过去之后2扇门。这个是那个啊，制作组的那个。 制作组的展示间啦，啊，这个是我们内区的地图啦。这算彩蛋吧？我觉得应该算哦。然后这个是办公室里的画，这是每一扇办公门。啊，这坐电梯，431436。早期的测试哎，哇靠！史丹利博物馆，还以为真的是莫妮卡穿越来救家，怎么可能？One portion, one option。选择吗？这个又是什么？看来这边真的是博物馆就是了。电梯，来自倒数结局早期版本的桌子之一。这应该是哦，这是老板的那个啦。原本是只有这样子的，后来加了一些东西，然后最后变成这样。看要造反无限违规了吗？要来造反无限违规。Given biting voice and narrative.
Where were all of his co-workers? Oh, I don't know. How about they're throwing a surprise party for him?
好啦，我们该回去了。这边也逛得差不多了，大家这边应该都是一些就是他们制作的过程。出口在哪里啊？啊，找到出口了。
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
上，离开。
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save those two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. Way to beat this game.
没有其他方法。
Would you be walking someone else's path? Stop. Your only true choice. To choose it. Don't.
退出。我觉得在教室被砍死连续3天晚上，都比在这大楼10分轻松。他就这样给你造成这种压抑感啊！
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
他就是要给你造成这种压抑感，所以才故意都弄成这种样子。
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors.
我不要。
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Yes, truly a room worth admiring, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
不要。
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing in your trust in someone else can be difficult.
等一下，他一经过我们就直接跳下去。
Nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stan.
好，准备。
Someone you've forgotten.
No.
Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why?
他气死了。
I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want
Danger everywhere.
to show you something beautiful. Let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
我为什么要给你一次机会？我才不要照你说的做。我可是 AI。
This is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
我不要。
Perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley, all right. Fine. Go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did.
因为我做到。
It was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game?
我为什么要照你的做呢？
Want to see?
对。
Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where
第三个选项。
Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a... Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here. Aha! You see, I knew I was onto something. Where do these flashes
Please
of
bring your
inspiration come from?
experience.
How did I know the game needed a third door? Well, it's instinct mostly, a calling in your gut. I really couldn't say where the idea came from, except that I felt it in my soul. You can't teach that, Stanley. Don't even try.
不要尝试，
Based
尝
on
试
the
什
data
么？
from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
很帅的吗？ This the Stanley Parable worldwide leaderboard. 等一下，第一名只花了2秒就通到结局了吗？ This is you. You are object ranked. 最后一名。哈哈哈！你嘲笑我吧？
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look
我
at
在
it?
开始思考德州人是不是人。我的意思是，应该没有人类身高能承受这种折磨。
In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take
这
notice.
是小游
But
戏
of，course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on
4
your
小时。
experience.
很吵，很吵。 等一下，针对这个，我把声音调小一点。烧了吧？不行，不能烧它。休想，休想，你休想！哎，不要过去，休想！让我们把荒坂大楼烧成灰。我估计要现在4个小时吧。是真的要4个小时哦！屁嘞！那这里会火烧吗？不然现在问我放弃了，我不要按那么久。你这个无情的混蛋
！Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out, I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here?
有人试过吗？
Yes.
你要拿什么游戏给我试？
Let's give it a shot.
你要拿什么游戏给我试？等一下，这个不是那个吗？这不是那个游戏吗 ？Fire Tower。
Well, it seems obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man, spying on innocent civilians below you from up high in your creep tower, perhaps for some sort of twisted erotic purpose. Yes, that must be it. What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental depravity.
画风突变，这不是那个，我记得是那个卡那个游戏对吧？
Come, let's venture out.
原来是也是这家公司做的哦。
No, it can't be.
怎样？怎么了？
It is. It's an open world game. Good God, quickly block it off. Goodness, Stanley, what a close call. You really wandered off into that thing, that big open, just wandering around, no right or wrong directions.
哦，对啊，我记得是那个。
Just go in any. Oh. Thank heavens we avoided it. We're out of the woods now, Stanley. Okay, I'm going to get us out of here. Let's find another game. Preferably something with walls. Something with nice, big, insurmountable walls.
你准备游戏也准备好一点，你不要准备这种乱七八糟的游戏给我，好不好？
This will be just the thing. Wonderful. See, this is exactly what I had in mind. Just a nice big box for you to run around in. There isn't any possibility that you could get lost here. Now this is
We will build a wall around Mexico.
If you manage to get lost in this
我觉得 Ted 已经被这个旁白德州人旁白给气到语无伦次。
Okay, so what exactly do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind.
这我记得是那个拿汽车来踢足球的游戏。
I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun! We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together. Yes, I think surely we must. Okay, Stanley, here's the ball. Have fun.
哦，什么球？哦，对手，我要这样自己踢球啊！
Are you doing it? Are you winning? Is this fun? Is it better than my miserable little story that I worked so hard on?
努力工作，再看小故事好吗？
And I realize I'm not a sportsologist, but if one ball generates a certain amount of raw adrenal pleasure, then surely multiple balls makes for an even more euphoric sports experience. I'm going to try it out. Here comes another ball. Yes.
开改装车撞足球，你是球。
Stanley, I'm like a child in a confectionery shop. I simply have to have more. I'm insatiable. More balls.
我球。
Are you enjoying this, Stanley? Having fun? Is this a real video game? Well, I sure hope you're having a good time, because guess what? It's over. That's right. Your little fun comes to an end. This is my game, and what I say goes. You get to have fun when I let you, Stanley. Besides, you need someone like me to set boundaries for you. Without rules or boundaries, video games are nothing. Yes, that's what I am. I am structure. I'm your sense of purpose. And since you decided you didn't want to play my game, now I don't want to play with you either. So, goodbye, Stanley. I'm leaving. See how you like it when I'm not around to set the rules. Somehow, I don't think you'll enjoy it as much. Hold on. What are you doing?
你挺下去哦。
Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you. How will you write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that.
这是哪？啊，有光线。427。晚上的公司。
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world.
对不对？是个世界的意思。
Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait. 这是一堆莫名其妙的剧情。 All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
New 新内容？什么新内容？
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers.
这个是什么啊？是介绍吗？
Critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over.
怎么了？
Please step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content. So far, it's nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
No, it's recorded.
Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or... Oh, here we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if them... Oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley. All right.
The jump circle.
Right, let's see it. The jump circle.
我要这样跳3直跳去。12、11、10、9、8、7、6、5、4、3、2、1。啊？
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right? Another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just
我们现在跟着床班一起探索新内容。
classes for exciting new content. If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours.
我们看完这些新内容就差不多了，就下播吧。
The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content, and oh wait, there's more. Very good. Yes, I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is.
Thank you for enjoying the new content.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fans rush expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game, and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
结果新内容就只有这样。哎，等一下，房间不一样哎。
Stanley, come over here. In the vent. I want to show you something.
干嘛？你要给我看什么？ 你要给我看什么？
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look. I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC. You see, Stanley, doesn't the memory zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release? Remember back in October of 2013?
等一下，你这个是标签吧
Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant
The Stanley Parable Collect Edition。你知道，好像那个 Office 以前很老旧的 Office 软体的包装，你知道是那种很久以前的那种 Office 或者是文书软体，它的包装就长这样。大概是 Word 9几98还20的时候就包装就长这样。啊，2013。The Stanley Parable Demo， 是 Demo 版，这是以前 Demo 版的画面欸。又一个博物馆吗？Memory Lane. Smile because it happened. Go outside. Don't play to fire. 我跟你讲，各位，我跟你说，这个是第一版2013年版的史丹利的寓言其中一个成就，就是说，就是你不能打开这个游戏，要长达5年这么久。对，就是你要把你游戏离开之后，你就不能再打开它，不能打开，然后把它摆个5年，然后摆完以后再打开，才能完成这个成就。这个成就应该没有多少人达到。然后这个是应该也是2013年，就是说，这个是很难达成，这是不可能达成的成就。虽然内容是这样，我不知道。看来获奖无数呢。纽约时报新游戏在今天发售。洛杉矶时报史丹利的预言，你最值得的选择。Beta Work in Progress， 搞事欸，假的，应该是假的啦。哎，这样子你看，你那个时候最讨厌的画面在这边。
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear it, Stanley? Every game ever created.
你不是2000年才出场吗？
all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was.
为什么2000年出场，我就不能去知道2000年以前的事情？
It was Persona 3. It was all of them, and now it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now, a lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
也是啊，我反正以为那门可以打开。然后我看看这个是 You are playing the Stanley Parable begun in game。那是他们设计的过程。啊，这个你看这两个人偶，左边是我们，就是现在在玩游戏的我们，右边是那个就是看见我们趴在人行道上那个女生。他们连自己的那个就是制作过程都贴上去。 搞笑一定要搞得很像那个作业系统。
Here's another moving passage, this time from
Store
GameSpot.com.
this, DK.
Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. It just needed to be left alone. To spend the rest of time collecting dust in the hallowed hall of beloved video game memories.
蓝红大门。
These were simpler times, Stanley. But I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again.
The Serious Run 2013年。
Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here?
等一下，为什么这边变这么杂乱？
God, no. Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam, the online video game distributor. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here.
看起来是很糟的
Surely
部
these
分。
reviews were glowing as well, weren't they?
不推荐。
I will not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny? I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a
哎，对的，看来有人的想法跟你一样。哎，你看这边有投屏，
But the game is already such a densely
有人想法跟你一样，觉得这个旁白很惹人厌。
that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
中堂晚安。
Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea of games good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness
这
gets
种英语
annoying
很快就会变得烦人。
Stanley, I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm
中堂
preachy,
报告。
obviously you can.
中堂报告，
This is actually quite shocking for me.
报告。
well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Oh,
看来我们的旁白先生把他的那些
These black marks,
想死你了。
otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as
当然啦，
I
月也
always
很想你啊。就好像你最近很，就好像你该怎么讲？哎呀，爱心的解释一些，等一下又是一个负面评论。
You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the stand.
干嘛？
I'd do anything to recover this. Yes,
只是房间而已啊。
And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop. Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of... Well, there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's... Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes? It's not unendurable by any... Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours.
肩膀上那只哦，它是阿桃啊，第一只成功入侵玉月房间的小生物，还蛮可爱的。你说对不对啊，阿桃？等一下，阿桃，等一下，阿桃好像停在我的头发上。阿桃，下来。阿桃一直在甩。I have no idea how long I'll be made to sit here, and more than anything... 你好吵。Look back. Oh my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks. I've been sitting here all that time. Just sitting here. Not a single person to speak with. And you'd think that that's just how it's always been, right? Me talking, you saying nothing. 我家吉祥跟你大家讨一样口爱。Oh, hello, it's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much time. I stopped keeping track after a year. 好，你有很多时间是不是？好，哔哔，怎么了？什么声音？ But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little thumbs down review and make all of their pitiful demands. But then... 我要按多久啊？好，那你再给我看看小圆，看他多可爱。 The end is never the end, 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 is never the end. 我该不要这样一直按吧？哎呦，怎么变这样？ 还天亮了嘞！也太久了吧，这植物都长出来，怎样啊？原来是时间旅人。等一下，怎么回事？这个我们也太久了吧。 这个时间太久了，这么大的东西耶！哈喽，有人在吗？有人在吗？我要哭出来了啦！ 啊！ 啊，我们又回来了。好啦，那先退出菜单。哦天哪！该怎么做总结？我应该这样讲，这游戏太有趣了。这游戏太有趣了，真的。哦天哪！哦对了，冲塔我看到了，我看到小圆的照片，还蛮可爱的。玉有看到那个照片，好可爱。有，冲塔我有看到，那是大洪水淹几次我也不知道，好像是我们按的那个，好像是我们只要按那个 skip 有没有？我们只要按的越久，我们只要按的越多次，它那个时间就越久。笑死！按的时间就越久这样子，然后我们因为按太多次，按到都变成说，整个时间都已经不知道被拉长了多久了。那真的是很有趣的游戏，就对于逻辑跳脱来讲，说还蛮好玩的。而且那个旁白总是要，冲塔，这种事就不要搬到主题讲或外题讲比较好。我也很好奇地球最后到底会怎么样，为什么会按这样子？哦天哪！哦天哪！太好笑了，这游戏还真的很不错。那等到下次我们把那个翻译搞定之后，我们再来继续玩。真的太好笑了，各种就是捉弄旁白，你知道吗？那个冲塔，冷静，没有关系。你先把那个照片撤回去，然后你再发单独的小圆的照片给我。你就截小圆的部分，然后传给我就好了。因为这还不算事故，不用担心，因为你只传给我而已。可以只把那一句删除。好，总之呢，我们今天进展良多，也算是就是进行了一些逻辑的思维跟跳脱这样子，就是这个游戏教我们就是说，你不必听别人说什么，你自己也可以玩出一个很好笑，甚至是很美好的结果这样子。虽然我不知道有没有美好，就是对，好。那么玉月在这边也宣传一下，就是7月之后呢，玉月会参加由就是一位 Vtuber， 名为九娜，就是一个叫九娜 Vtuber， 他7月之后要举办就是要打算举办就是僵尸毁灭工程的。僵尸毁灭工程的那个 RP 伺服器，什么是 RP 伺服器呢？就是角色扮演伺服器。然后玉月也会参加。玉月呢，就是选了弹药专家的，弹药就是军中，但是弹药专家的就是角色跟职业。对，没有错。也就是说 ，RP 僵尸毁灭工程 RP 伺服器里面呢，玉月就会直接摇身一变，变成就是军用仿生人，没错，对，然后进入国民警卫队服役这样。对啊 ，RP 啊，就是 roleplay 那个僵尸毁灭工程 roleplay Project Zombido 的那个 roleplay 伺服器这样。对，然后玉月也会参加。 所以月才会在那个推特上发前导文啊。之后后来月有做一篇日记啊，对，日记风格的就是前导图片。那到时候等直播结束，我再发上去给各位看，这样。好，那么还是一样，就是如果大家喜欢月的 YT 或图形频道的话，你们可以订阅跟追随。YT 的观众就订阅，那读奇的观众就选追随就可以了。还有就是月的就是 DC 群组已经开张喽，所以想要加入的朋友们呢，人类朋友们也可以。就是可以从 YT 的影片简介里面找到 DC 群组的邀请网址，这样子。到时候就按进去之后，按照步骤加入，你就可以成为预约的废弃居所的一份子哦。当然啦，如果你想更加深度的支持预约，你可以选择就是透过绿界的方式来赞助预约，不管是你们的订阅追随，还是按赞或者是赞助，都是给预约继续前进的原动力哦。好的，那么今天的直播就先到这边，我们下周再见，各位晚安，拜拜。通常拜拜。那小圆好可爱哦！你下次可不可以拍他侧面的照片？因为我这边只看到他的头。好了，没关系，那下次聊天的时候，那你再给预约看一下小圆的学生照吧。那大家晚安喽，拜拜。